A new book by two decorated military officers gives a cautionary tale, and that's putting it mildly, of what warfare might look like 60 years into the future. It is a world devastated by climate change. 2084, a novel of future war, is the latest product in a trilogy by Elliot Ackerman and Admiral James Stavridis. I spoke with them earlier today. Please listen. For the purposes of this conversation, we're going to shorthand Elliot and Admiral. So, Elliot and Admiral, I want to ask you something. You have three novels that look deep into the future. I want you to look 1 month in the future from right now. What's happening in Iran and what's happening in any other theater of operations you think my audience might be interested in. Elliot?
I think when we're looking at Iran, probably it's going to be continued tensions around the Strait of Hormuz.
A month from now.
A month from now. I still think that's what we're going to be talking about.
So what we experience now is not going to be all that different just 1 month from now.
Well, I think we're going to still see that the Strait is an enormous point of leverage for the Iranians. So I'll speak on that one issue, and
right.
I'll turn it over to my co-author.
Admiral, a month from now, what does the world look like?
One thing I'm watching, while the world is fixated on the Strait of Hormuz, I'm watching the war in Ukraine. Here we see the Ukrainians are getting on the front foot. I feel Putin is under pressure. That's a good thing. We need to continue that pressure. The Ukrainians sure will. We could get to a negotiation there, not in a month, but I think you could start to see that one come toward a finish maybe late this year.
Admiral, I want to drill down on that point. Why do you think they're on the front foot, the Ukrainians? Because that's not where they've been for so many years.
You are correct, and I'll give you two numbers to buttress my argument. Today, the Ukrainians are building, wait for it, 1 million drones a month. 1 million drones a month. And they're using them, here's the second number, it's a grim one. They're using them to kill or knock off the battlefield 1,000 Russians a day. A day. Putin lost 35,000 out of the fight in the last month. That's unsustainable, and the Ukrainians are moving forward, and they're retaking territory, your point, for the first time in almost 2.5 years.
Fascinating, which leads us, Admiral and Elliot, to a through line in your three novels, 2034, 2054, 2084. Technology, changing the battlefield, changing relationships. But in 2084, you have technological advancements and also the specter of climate change. Pick it up from there, Elliot.
I think it's the specter of climate change. This goes back to the Strait of Hormuz. You know, there's the old saying that the way Americans learn geography is through war.
Yes.
And geography...
Sadly true.
Yes. And geography really is the destiny of nations. But what's the one thing that can change geographic realities? Climate. And we're seeing that right now. You know, we're seeing that. Why was President Trump talking about Greenland? That's because of climate change.
Right.
So what we're doing is not only in 2084 looking at the future of warfare, but we're also looking at the future of geopolitics and how changes in the climate are going to change geography and change the interactions between nation states.
And Admiral, correct me if I'm wrong, was there not a time in the recent past when the Pentagon identified climate change as a massively destabilizing force? And didn't the Trump administration back away from that?
You have it exactly right. And I think the administration got it right the first time, as in Biden. This actually goes back to a period of time in Obama. And if you stop and think about it, what is climate doing? It's drought. It's rising sea levels. It's melting sea ice. Those are facts. And they are going to put enormous pressure on economies, farmers, inflame tensions, push migration. All that is going to lead to security challenges. I think it's irrefutable that is the case.
So I'm not versed in all three of the novels. I'm somewhat versed in 2084. Talk to my audience about something that they would naturally wonder. Do these novels wrestle with nuclear weapons? Do they wrestle with the rise of artificial intelligence? Admiral?
You nailed it. I'd say the through line is the rise of artificial intelligence. The first book is about U.S. and China in a war, and you see the edges of that. By the second book, it's front and center here in the United States, impacting our politics. By the time you get to 2084, it's a central prop in the entire drama. And so AI runs through all of them. But here's what really runs through all of them, and Elliot is best at addressing this. It's the human element. These are novels about real people. And I think that is the human story that we try to put in play in all three of them.
Are you the humanist in this combination and the admiral's the strategist, Elliot?
Well, I think we do a little bit of both.
Okay.
But as much as we're talking about these books and like the geopolitical themes that drive them, yes, like fundamentally, these are character-based stories. You could pick up any one of the books and enjoy it on its own, but they're characters who in 2084, you see their progeny in 2034. And fundamentally, this project has been about projecting out what we think will be the three great challenges that will face humanity in the 21st century: peer-level war, AI and domestic politics, and climate change. And we tell the story of those challenges through the characters that are having to grapple with them.
You can listen to our entire conversation on your favorite podcast platform. It runs about 30 minutes. I guarantee you, humbly, it's worth your time.